just believe in the power of healing and restoration. And I know that if we can just come together and speak about the hard things, we can finally begin to heal. So, this is where we heal. Welcome to another episode of This Is Where We Heal. Today I have a very special guest all the way here from New York. Which part of New York again?
Manhattan.
Manhattan. This is Hakeem McFarlane. Is it McFarlane or McFarlane?
McFarlane.
McFarlane. I knew that. I knew that. Hakeem has a community called the Choose Yourself Community. He is also an expert on gut health and nutrition, correct?
That's what I love.
That's what he loves. And he is just a super positive, optimistic, glass half full kind of guy that I've been following for a while and absolutely love. If you don't follow him already, you should do that. But welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, St. Louis, already feeling the love.
You should. It's on Valentine's Day.
Also, first of all, you look great.
Thank you.
Hope you feel as good as you look.
I do. I actually do.
Honored to spend Valentine's Day here with you and your people. And I love what you do for yourself and the people online.
Yeah, well, no, and that's exactly why I have you here, because nice. I feel the same way. You're so encouraging. And I was telling a friend of mine that, we've talked on the phone a few times, but you're always just like, you won't even let someone say anything bad about themselves, even in jokes.
Can't do it.
I love it.
We can't have that.
I love it. And I want to know how, have you always been that way when it comes to mindset, just positive and optimistic and
I used to be talking shit. When I used to party, me and my boys would go outside in the smoking section because I used to smoke.
Ooh.
Black and Mouths and weed.
Ooh.
Nothing against plant medicine. Actually, I got a story about marijuana healing somebody right in my face. And ever since then, I was like, oh, plants are from nature.
Yeah.
It's cool. But we used to go outside and just roast random smokers.
Really?
In the smoking section. Bad. And then we get into fights because we defend them.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah.
Can't imagine why.
It was like a 2-year stint in my dark place. That was what we did. Got lit, go outside, talk shit.
Really? Okay. So I got to know, what is the backstory with the community? Because you're all about choosing yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and just being the best version of who you can. And I want to know what the backstory is behind that. What led you down that path?
I was not really a self-chooser. I was an athlete first.
Okay.
But I grew up single white mom. I had siblings, but they're 14 years ahead of me. Mm. So living in different states, but grew up a single white mom, mixed kid. Too white for my homies, my black friends. Too dark for the white people. But every time I got on the field, I earned my respect because I was the best one. Basketball, football, track, hockey, baseball, soccer, you name it, I played it. And my little brother was born when I was 10. He had short gut syndrome and leukemia. First person ever with both. So I experienced all these different doctors coming to find the once in a lifetime cure for these two problems so I can retire. So we had an African doctor, we had an Indian doctor, Asian doctor. I'm like 10, 11, 12. I'm like, how many doctors we gonna get in here? Is this a project? What is this, my brother? So that kind of turned me off to Big Pharma. Mm-hmm. I'm like, y'all got on these suits, but y'all don't really know what you're doing because you can't even save them. Mm-hmm. And that's where that kind of started with my rebellion against authority. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 16, he passed. And when he passed, I got into the van and went and played a basketball game the same day. Didn't cry. Actually, my mom called me in my room when I was at home and I broke everything in the house when I was by myself. Got into the car, went and played a basketball game. And this is important because I realized upon reflection and conversation and research, which is why it's important, you have to research why you are the way you are, the way the mind works, the way the body works, the way humanity works, why we're all connected, because you're not the only one. Mm-hmm. And you think you are when you're in the shit. Mm-hmm. So I went right and played a basketball game. When I was 16, 17, 18, it was school, work, or school, sports, girlfriend. Mm-hmm. But I was never alone. Mm-hmm. Never wanted to be alone. I didn't want to sit with it. Yeah. And then I didn't drink or nothing in high school. My body was a temple. My dad was an addict. My mom was an addict. My brother and sister went through it. So I was like, I don't want to be none of the part of that. But eventually I got around the wrong people, and I started drinking. So all the grieving and the trauma, I say trauma because I think it's all character development once we get past it. But when we're in it, it's definitely classified as trauma. Yeah. So, playing sports was a way to bury it. But when I started drinking, those emotions started to surface. So every sip was like a crack on my emotional safe. And eventually that shit's going to bust wide open. Mm-hmm. Little did I know it's going to take 7 years. So it's 7 years of suppression, running, escaping, covering, numbing, mask, finding time, never be alone. And once I did that, started drinking the fourth quarter of my senior year, I quit track and I quit basketball. So that was my new thing. Quit, run. You're going to run from your grieving. You're going to run from every single thing you don't like because authority doesn't know what they're talking about. The doctors didn't know. The coaches must not know. Your mom must not know. Your dad must not know. Nobody knows about nothing. I know everything, blah, blah, right? So we all go through that usually when we're younger.
Yeah.
And then I went to D1 for a ride. So I'm like, oh, yeah, man, I made it. And was just drinking, playing football, drinking. Got into it with my teammates and my coaches and whatnot. So I ended up leaving. I ran again. I don't need y'all. I'm out. Ran again. I don't like this. I don't like it. I'm out. Went D2. Finally went first play, first game. I'm like, I made it. It's 85 degrees. It's a packed out stadium. Everybody loves me. I made the front page when I transferred here. Everybody came to see this new D1 athlete. First play, first game, ACL. Ooh. Your body's like, you need to sit down and pay attention to your shit.
Yeah.
Because the body will keep score.
Yeah.
Read the book.
Yep.
The body will tell you if you are going too far from your truth.
Yep.
And if you don't process it, it's going to be worse the farther you run. The more you run, the harder it hits. So ACL, I was like, all right, where do I go whenever I experience trauma or turmoil? Back to the parties. So I'm at parties on crutches and shit. I don't got to go to practice. So I'm like, I don't really have to go to class. I'm not even practicing. Like, party, yeah, crutching around. 4 weeks later, my birthday party, football house, bunch of tools, bunch of egos. And I'm on crutches, celebrating. Some random white dude walks up and tries to come in. I'm like, you're not on the team? He's like, so what? I'm coming in. I'm like, no, you're not. Boom, hit him in the face. That was the whole fight. And I was in this white town. All the black people at the school played sports. If you didn't play sports, you typically weren't going to be black in that town. And I got 20 years probation, felony assault, first-degree assault with 86 months over my head. My first crime ever.
Wow.
So now I'm a felon at 19 with an ACL, right? So I got kicked out of that school, and I went to my mom's crib. Shout out Mama D for moving out of her one bedroom and letting me get the one bedroom and her taking the den so I could recover. But I still didn't want to sit alone, so I went back into the streets. I was 19 now. Sat out for a whole year. It was actually 2 years. I sat out for 2008. High school, I graduated, went to NDSU for the summer. Didn't even make it the summer. Went to Winona for the first semester, got kicked out in the first month, and then sat out for all 2008, 2009, and then 2010 fall, I finally went back. Wow. So that whole 2 years, I was doing security. I had 3 more knee surgeries in the black market, slanging dope, drinking, women, partying. I was out till 5 a.m., waking up at 2. And then I got into one serious fight and doing security, got my ass whooped, y'all. And I've lost fights. I won a lot too now. Yeah. I won the ones that count. But I lost, man. If you fight, you fight. Like, especially in a club when it's 8-on-8, 10-on-10, people coming with all kinds of shit from the side. And this was at a time when we were called Murderapolis. So we had the highest murder rates in the country during this time in 2009. And I was at the nightclub on the corner that had most of the damn crime. So at 2 a.m., this is where everybody died. Yeah. And so that's the kind of people who was in there with. And one time I got whooped and I was like, woke up in the morning, I was like, my hands were sore, my ribs were sore, my face was all fucked up. I'm like, what am I doing out here? Yeah. I'm an athlete. I do not belong out here in these streets.
So you were laying in the ground. It's what time you say, 2 a.m?
Yeah, well, it was the next morning.
Oh, okay,
So I woke up and everything was sore, and I was like, I need to go back to school. So I tried to go to the U of M, which is the university, but found out if you had a felony in the last 5 years, you can't go to university. So now I'm like, what? I can't go to no university in the whole dang world? So I'm like, all right, so now I got to go to a private school, which my faith and my religion is already shook because I have a felony at 19 and my brother died. And I'm like, what kind of God does this? Yeah. So I had to go to a private school and went D3 to Augsburg College. Shout out Augsburg. The head coach and the president, I had to sit down with them and explain my story. And I swear it was just this. And I was still victims. Like, oh, man, it was my party. I was injured. My brother died. Like, I was still victims mentality, but they showed me empathy and compassion. Like, okay, you can play. So I went out there with a house arrest bracelet on. First practice, and what's up, y'all? I'm the new guy.
They're like, damn.
Check me, new bling, y'all, new bling. But I can't stay late because I got to be home in time. So I went to Augsburg, but I was still dabbling in my party scene. You know, what I used to numb myself and sports. So I started a promotional company. We were doing party buses, house parties. And in the off season, I would party. During the season, I would lock in. So it was like spring semester, it was party time, summer party. June, lock in, get ready for training camp in August, play during the season, and then live this back and forth kind of thing throughout college. Got my degree, started all 4 years, played safety, receiver, kick return, punt return, did all these things because I was D1 playing D3. I think like there's a big talent gap where I barely had to practice to be good, you know.
Yeah.
But I ended up loving the team and the coaches and the journey. And then when I graduated, All-American, the Dallas Cowboys came to try me out, and I was not ready because I had been partying back and forth. I wasn't in prime time shape. Didn't make it. My coach sent me out to Iowa to go try out for an arena football team. Had to call my PO like, hey, can I get a travel permit? Went out there, made the team, came back, told my PO, like, I made it. She's like, all right, well, now you have to wait 40 days before we transfer. I was like, the game is in 3 weeks. Oh. So I lost my spot. And then about a month later, I broke my ankle. So at that point, I was like, okay, football's done. In my head, from D1, D2, 5 knee surgeries, 2 years out, in the streets, going back, I was still going to the NFL.
Right.
I never had to be like, okay, what am I going to do now? I was still always going to go back. So that was the same thing that was holding me from dealing with my grieving, was when I pulled the plug on my brother and went into that van. I was still in that van. In my head, I was in that van. No matter if I was doing security, this is just temporary. Let my knees heal. I'm going to go back to school. I still had the van. Yeah. I still had the dream. But when I couldn't go play for that team and I broke my ankle, the van's gone.
Yeah.
Ain't no more sports. Nothing left. So where do I go every time something happens? Back to the streets. Here we go. We going to party, but now we really doing it.
Yeah.
Because ain't nothing to train for.
Yeah.
Ain't no trials coming up. Ain't no teammates. So now I'm deep in the streets, doing all kind of dumb shit. And in and out of jail probably, 5-6 times, getting locked up for fighting, but I would automatically get out every time. I was with my best friend, who was a huge fighter. He was super good at fighting too, so we won a lot, but eventually we got locked up once and I didn't get out. He did. So lawyer told me that he told a different story, and so whatever, we're not friends now. Some people would call him a snitch. I just say that was the way for God to say, sit your ass down and sit in your shit.
Yeah.
So I had to go to jail for 8 months and got out. 30 days later, I got a D-dub, went right back in for another 8 months. Except the second 8 months, after being high for 2 years straight, never sober, and then even in that first 8 months, there was shit floating around in jail to help you deal with time.
Yeah.
Popping pills, you can freaking sleep your time away and all this. Second time I went back, they cut all that stuff out. So this is my first time having to sit with my shit. I went in there, somebody overdosed in the jailhouse, so they locked down the first day I got in was lockdown. So I had my roll up, I walked in, no pen, no pad, no book, no music, no shower, no phone call, nobody opens the door, no shower.
Wow.
Right when I walked in, I was like, first day, withdrawals. Second day, I'm like, the judge, my brother, freaking my boy snitched on me, my dad, booked this place, blaming, complaining, blah, blah. And I think this is the process that I try to identify in the choose yourself process is first you're going to go through withdrawals. That's the isolation. That's the solitude. And if you come out of a relationship, a new job, you go to a new territory, a new community, there's going to be withdrawals. Like, oh, I wish this still could be, maybe it could. And then eventually, by the second day, you're like, you get frustrated with your situation. You want to blame people. Oh, it was because of them.
Yeah.
Now, the second phase is you want to blame, complain. The third phase is like, where do I fit in? Trying to find your new friends, but not go back to your old friends. And so I'm in the block just screaming, gang banging, 350 men, all locked up, been locked up for 3 days. Man, whoa, by the middle of the day, I'm like, my throat hurts and my head hurts. How have y'all been yelling for 3 days straight? I've been in here hearing y'all, not worried about y'all. I tried for 6 hours and I can't breathe. I'm drinking this water, got my throat closing, my lips is chapped, dang water, the toilet, everything. So by then I'm like, okay, I'm not part of that life. That's not cool. Fourth day I woke up and I was like finally coming to it. And I'm like, damn, yo. Ain't nobody coming for your ass. The touchdown's gone. The girls, the drugs, the money. Nobody's answering. You can't even get out of here. You can't go if you want to. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I said, damn it, I'm gonna choose myself. Finally. Some people only need one loss. Some people need 100.
Yeah.
But eventually you get to a point where you're done dealing with your own shit. Same way with relationships. You get all these shitty people, and then when you choose yourself and you isolate, you invest into yourself, you add value, you don't attract that no more.
Boom.
You don't attract that no more, you know? And that's
yeah.
a relationship with anything. So first thing I did was push-ups, man. I did a bunch of push-ups, did 1,200 push-ups a day, and that's what made me realize fitness is what keeps me present. It's what allows me to stay in control. You know, some people use meditation, nature, journaling, conversation. I use fitness. Find something that makes you present. And then, you know, got out 18 months. I went sober. I was still bartending and stuff, but I was like, what can I do? I need to do something else. I'm not football anymore. And then my uncle called. He was like, yo, I found some farmers in Morelos, and they're steaming and smoking, and they don't have any money. I was like, all right, what you want to? He's like, so I'm going to go down there and give them some money. I'm going to make my own category. It's not tequila. It's not mezcal. It's called Davila. I'm like, I bartended 15 years. I never heard nobody doing this. He's like, I know. I'm telling you. So the next year, he's like, hey, do you want to run the market? Do you want to start selling this? I'm like, cool. I had a hoopty. I lived in the basement of my boy's crib. Like, my girl left me and all this. So I had like 2 suitcases. My old teammates went in the basement. There was a beehive down there. Crickets. I'm in the jungle. I'm sleeping with tissue in my ears and in my nose. I'm not playing. There was bees and shit under the freaking goddamn freaking
Talk about
covers.
rock bottom.
Man, that was the bottom. I was in the jungle with my people. And shit, and then I had a hoopty and no air condition. It didn't go past like 40 miles an hour. And actually my stepdad gave it to me. It was one of his cars he was working on. So I'm driving to these accounts. It's freaking 90 degrees. I put my shirt on the passenger seat. I don't want to sit back because I don't want my back sweaty. So I drive to the account. I park down the block, wipe off with a towel, put the polo on, walk in like, hey, I got the best agave spirit in the world. You want some? Eyes red from burning and shit. And eventually, man, 3 years of, you know, dedicating from that 18 months of sobriety and focusing on the personal investment, personal growth, it overflowed into all areas of my life. Got my own place, got a better car. Started blowing up in my sales, but I never stopped investing into the foundation. And that's what I provide to people now is the foundation. Nighttime routine, sleep, morning routine. You prioritize those things, you're not going to stay out because you got to go to sleep so you can you got to go home to your nighttime routine so you can get your sleep so you can set your intention in the morning so you can actually do what you want to do tomorrow. It's like today, the instant gratification doesn't overflow past your foundation. The foundation is like a boundary.
Yeah.
Boundaries aren't things that deter love. They actually show you how to love you. People think boundaries are like, oh, I'm going to scare everybody away. Hell yeah, the people that don't belong.
Yes.
They're supposed to scare people away.
That's right.
So after doing that, Slang and Rebel, there was one more time, like the first 2 months, I was dabbling back. I'm like, I got all this liquor, so I went back to my old friends. I'm like, throwing the parties and shit with my own liquor, but no sales. And my uncle's like, you got to get some sales, or I got to let you go. I'm like, okay, fine. I almost went back, but thank you for telling me. And that was the last shift I needed. And once that happened, man, started crushing it, man. Started really blowing up. And then my uncle called me and was like, hey, you doing great, man. We about to move you to New York City. I was like, what? For real? All right, bet. Click. I was like, oh, fuck, probation. Damn. What the hell? I can't even move. I'm like, you know what? George Floyd just died. Bunch of people getting released early. Kim K, they going in there getting people out. I'm like, let me write a letter. I wrote a 2-page letter. The judge dropped probation and a felony.
What?
Dropped everything. Moved 10 days later with 2 suitcases.
Wow.
Yep, and then went to New York. And when I got there, you know, we went through some shifts with our business to where like finances were uncertain. And so I like had to use my head. That's what Choose Yourself was born. I was like, all right, I'm going to make a brand that helps people do what I did. And so over time, it was the content, then it was the podcast, then now it's a book coming out, then the community's been out since like July. And so the gut health solution and the balance, the foundation, all these things that when I reflect and I'd be like, oh, that's how I did that? Okay, how can I create that into a system that I can provide to people now?
That's so good. That's perfect. It's so funny because, I mean, even though we have completely different stories, like the parallels in the journey that got you here are so similar with anyone who's been in like abusive relationships, like you were saying. It's still the same thing. It's still an addiction in a way. And you still have to get to the point where you stop going, oh my God, everyone abuses me, which, you know, abuse is never acceptable. It's still not right. No one should do that. But you also have to get to a point where you go, okay, I'm tired of letting people abuse me. I'm tired of staying in relationships where I'm being abused. I'm tired of staying in relationships where I know the red flags are glaring and I know I deserve better and I know I have to fix me so that I will stop choosing those things and allowing them. And that was the same thing that happened with me like a year and a half ago. I finally I got fed up with myself. I got fed up with the decisions that I was making and the boundaries I was letting people cross. And I got fed up with being sad and suffering and knowing that it was at least partly my own fault. And I did the same thing. I just was like, I went ghost mode and just like, I kept posting online as I was going along with the journey because I wanted to be able to like, one, connect with other people. But I knew I was healing. I knew things were changing in me. And I knew that if it was happening for me, that talking about it would help other people too. And I just kind of like, I thought, you know what? I don't need to go out partying. I don't need to go out drinking. I don't need a huge group of social contacts that I'm just like constantly running around, but I'm not ever focusing on myself. Mm-hmm. I need to get healthy. I need to sit with my crap. And I did. I just like, I think it was like solid 3 months of just in my bathtub every night, just like, just sobbing.
Would it take some time?
And at first it was me feeling sorry for myself. Mm-hmm. Like it really was just me just like this. Why did all of this happen to me? Why do people abuse me? Why do people take advantage of me? Why me? Why me? And then I finally was just like, why do I let this happen to myself? And then I started rebuilding who I believed I was until I got to a place where I was like, actually, no, I'm worthy of better. I am better. I'm a good person. I'm loving. I'm kind. I don't have to allow any of that. And the more I reframed the way that I thought about myself, the stronger I felt and the less I tolerated. And I didn't even realize that. Like even now, I look at my life and it's like every relationship I have is amazing. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that's changed is me. So even though it's totally different.
Not really.
It's the same.
Yeah, not really. I think that's the underlying truth, man. Choose yourself is the underlying truth to all belief systems. Because, if you die, you don't get to do nothing.
Yeah.
So, whatever choose yourself looks like.
Yeah.
Whatever you're able to do to identify the growth through your grief, whatever you're able to do to process your emotions and bounce back with resiliency no matter what comes into your life, you got to do those things because you can't repair your roof in the rain.
Yeah.
You can't wait till the rain comes.
Yeah.
Or you're going to slip and bust your shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, setting the standard for what you allow from yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Is setting the standard for what you allow from others.
That's right.
And it's all reflection.
And I know it's different for men and women when it comes to not necessarily different for men and women when it comes to grief and sitting in this stuff and the emotions and the depth of it. But what did that look like for you? For me, it was sobbing my eyes out every night and crying and then giving myself affirmations and going to the gym in the morning and being kinder to people even just because. I don't know. It was for me, it's easier, I think, for women to kind of sit in it and face it than it is for men. So I'd love to know, how did that start for you? How did you sit in your stuff?
Mine just came from creativity. Really contributing to others helped me sit in it. Mm. Because I had to pick which parts of my past that I thought were going to benefit others, which made me focus on the positive. Mm-hmm. So...
And it forced you to look at it.
Yeah, you got to look at both sides of it, And I think for men, first of all, get your ass in the gym. If you're a man. Women, I get it. You got your balance, you got your hormones, you got your cycles. Sometimes you got testosterone, sometimes you don't. Okay, fine. Women, meditate, journal, sob, do what you got to do. Men, get your ass in the gym.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. You need to get up in there because what that does for men, especially men that are weak-minded or less confident, it shows you your ability to build strength. Mm-hmm. That's why we can build strength at a higher rate than women, because we're meant to be strong physically. But what physical strength does, it requires mental strength to be physically strong. Mm-hmm. I think women's strength comes in compassion, the nurturing and connection, and the creative and the flow naturally. So however you can create and flow, women definitely should lift too.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, because your muscles are going to hold your bones up and your bones going to break eventually. So, but for processing my emotions, I journaled for about a year. I was forced to go to treatment by the judge, which that really helped me process it. For 8 months, I went to treatment once a week. And it took me about 3 months to even say anything. But yeah, I didn't even meditate until about a year ago. I think the best part was that I was seeing light at the end. Mm-hmm. Well, once I was like, okay, it's up to you. Then there was no more emotions to process. It was like, all right, it's up to you. Mm-hmm. What do you? It's up to you. So get up, get shit done, finish all your tasks in the market, get home on time, still do the same shit tomorrow, and keep doing it. And if you keep this cycle up, you'll turn into the person.
Yeah, amen.
So the choices and connecting with others.
It's like treat yourself like you're someone you love. I've heard that before, and I say it sometimes because it's a reminder, even of myself. Like, I have to treat me like I'm someone I love. Like, do the things for me that I need to do as if I love myself. Like going to the gym, I don't want to go to the gym, but I love myself enough to know that going there is going to make me happier and stronger and healthier. I'm going to feel better, and I'm going to be a better version of myself to other people. And same with like eating. Like I like a good treat. I really do. But I love myself enough to know that like I still have to eat healthy too, because I feel better. I act better. Yeah. I show up better when I'm doing that. And so I love, you talked about having to like, there's no one coming to help you. You got to do it for yourself. Mel Robbins said that. She said, no one's coming. You have to save yourself. And that was like a huge mind shift for me, going, oh my God, I spent my whole life thinking someone's going to discover me. I'm a singer. I love to sing. Everyone loves my singing voice. I was convinced I'd be a famous singer. And I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting for someone to come discover me in my 20s in my rock band, thinking someone's going to come discover our band, that this is it. Mm-hmm. And it just never happened. And I realized like, oh my God, I'm in charge of my life. I'm waiting for someone else to give me a reason to live the fullest life I can. And I'm the one in charge of that. Like, I have to structure my life the way that I want it to be. And little by little, it's kind of gotten me there. But I wouldn't have if I hadn't ever had that moment. Yeah,
that's important. That's important, man. I mean, and content too helps. Some people think content creators are like fake.
Yeah.
That shit helps.
Yeah, it does.
That shit helps,
If it's real.
Yeah, if it's real.
Yeah.
Right. Don't be faking it, because then you're going to be creating a friction between your character and the character you're developing.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
But definitely, when I talk about the choose yourself process, it starts with a breaking point, and then you go in your dark place. Mm-hmm. And it might be for 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years. Mm-hmm. But you go down, you're like, fuck. And then you're like, okay, fine. Whatever that moment is. But the dark place, that is what provides you with the trigger point to trigger yourself, to choose yourself. Then you have to evaluate your environment, manage your time and foundation, your consumption, start investing into yourself with your time, energy, and resources. And then you start to develop the new version. And then with that reflection and what you've learned, you can contribute. Mm-hmm. And it gives you credibility. So the dark place gives you credibility. If I didn't go through that, people wouldn't be believing me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd just be talking about what I read.
Yeah. And I think, and I've said this before a few times too, I think our purpose is our story. Mm-hmm. That is our purpose. It's to overcome the things we didn't think we could and make that the journey, like the hero's journey for each of us, like saving ourselves. And then sharing with the world that you did, so that not only can they see how, but they can see that they can do it too. Yeah,
you inspire others by choosing yourself.
You do.
And there's a lot of people, and that's really the first thing. One of the first things people say is that people noticed the change in myself when I started choosing myself. Wow. Before I even noticed.
Right. Yeah.
Like people's kids, people's coworkers are like, "What you been doing?" Like, nothing, just going to sleep on time and waking up on time.
Yeah.
Like, it is that simple.
Yeah.
It really is that simple.
What does a day look like for you now? Like choose yourself day. Because I'm sure you give yourself a day here and there, right?
Yeah. Well, see, it's about the balance, okay? Choosing yourself is embracing your natural state and your independence. So breaking free of your hedonic vices and your dependencies, and then finding a balance and ability to dabble and celebrate. Okay. So that's why I have a liquor company. That's what I use to celebrate, but also it's creating a new category, which is a challenge that I love. I work direct with the farmers. It's a pure organic process at the base of a volcano, but also when the internet shuts down and the dollar don't mean shit, I can trade it as well. So that's what I'm saying. But also I like to drink, okay? Which is why I work so hard.
Yeah.
I work so hard, but 80% healthy, 20% fun, 100% happy. Life can't be redone. So whatever your 20% is, sugar, liquor, weed, porn, nicotine, caffeine, gambling, swiping, sex, dating, those are all hedonic instant gratification vices.
Right.
If you can't be yourself without hitting the joint or freaking some pre-workout or freaking a vape. Like, that's something hiding you from your pure self. So first, strip from that, and then embrace your natural state, overcome the cravings and the urges, and then find your balance. So that's what I did, was strip from it in that 18 months, was strip free. And I was still drinking coffee and smoking Black and Milds. So that was how I filled the void, but I stayed in the gym. Like, that was the constant. But so now what I try to explain to people is that your foundation doesn't have to be the same every day. You got to find 3 things that are non-negotiables that you have to do every day, and it shouldn't take longer than 20 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
So you get a mini foundation, then your full foundation should be at least an hour. So for me, I have from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is my full foundation. And that includes sleep.
Yeah.
And then on my short foundations, it'll be from like 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. So it's just 7 hours. So 7 hours versus 12.
Okay. And
everywhere in between, I have a foundation that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. And this comes from years of having to make these things happen. So on a full foundation, I go to sleep at 8, or I'm in bed reading by 8. My curfew is 7:30. Give yourself a curfew, give yourself a digital sunset, and give yourself an in-bed time. Those 3 things you have to focus on to get your sleep, because your sleep is what provides you with the energy to be able to activate your morning routine. Your morning routine was what allows you to set your intention for the day. And when you're intentional throughout the day, then you can get home on time.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's a cyclical. You're going to be in a loop anyways. Are you freaking just going in circles, or are you controlling it? One of the two, So then I get my sleep. When I wake up, I don't hit the snooze button. Don't hit the snooze, y'all.
Not ever?
Not ever.
What?
Not ever.
That's discipline right there.
Well, see, the thing about, I started saying it because I didn't want to, and now I've said it so much I can't. Even if I wanted to, I'm like, I'm going to get up, I'll come home and take a power nap for 20 minutes. But skip the snooze, and then I'll go right to the shower, turn it on, brush my teeth for 4 minutes.
Okay. 4 minutes?
Yeah, 2 on top, 2 on bottom.
Good for you.
Timer on the toothbrush. And then cold shower for 2 minutes. And then I'm right on the mat to stretch my whole body. Then I do foot foundational flexibility, toes, arches my feet, which is the foundation, walking so much, on my feet so much, exercise. You want to take care of your feet. And then I'm in the journal. I'm either prepping for the day or reflecting. It depends on my emotional state, but then I give time for pen to pad work. And then I get into my creative space. So I got a shit ton of words that rhyme, a bunch of theories and ideologies that I've heard, and I wrote them down. I'm like, okay, which one looks cool? Oh, that looks cool. Don't make a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Because the devil won't show up as a devil because you won't make the deal. All right, let's start with that.
That one.
That's the cool one.
That's the one that got me following you.
And then everybody loved that one. That one's everywhere.
You had another one too that I really liked.
Yeah, thanks. So then I'm like, what could the devil be? And so going through my life, seeing what these addictions are, I was able to create something that made me aware of what the devil inside is.
Ooh, that's good.
So now when I'm creating in the morning, I'm creating awareness. I'm creating repetition by thinking, repeating, and then I make it rhyme, and then I spit it, and then I post it, and then I listen to it. So that's repetition of the things that I want to be. And now when I put the phone down, I got to do what I said.
Yeah.
I have to. And that was the whole reason I started content. So I'll get back to that, though. That's cool how I started content, too, which I'm sure you probably feel that way, too, making content. Like, you got to do what you say now.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You have to do it now. Some people probably lie, but
I can't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't. The next video, I'd be like, hey, guys, I seduced y'all.
But you know what? I think it shows. I think you can kind of, if you know, you can like tell who's authentic and who isn't. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
But
then I go to the, spit on the way to the train, and then get to the gym. I'll stretch again, cardio, weights, and then I hit Trader Joe's twice a week at 8 a.m. I get my haircut once a week at 9 a.m. I got 10 a.m. meeting for CYC on Tuesdays, 10 a.m. recording of the podcast. So that's when my day starts. So
dang. But you know what? I want to make it this a point, because I'm sure like any guy that's listening to this hasn't even started is like, what? I'm not doing all that. Like, that ain't gonna happen. But it's a process. I'm sure it wasn't like you just one night were like, I'm doing every one of these things.
No.
I'm sure you just like little by little you incorporated everything. And it's the same with healing. Like little by little, it's step by step, day by day. You move forward a little bit. You choose something that's good for you that you didn't choose yesterday.
And And so the mini foundation for me, I just wake up, cold shower, cardio weights, skip everything else.
That's good.
I might repurpose a video.
Yeah.
I'll clip out one of my lives and post it. So just so my people can hear something, because people we actually connect through that. You know, people from the CYC, they enjoy seeing me consistent, so that when they see me again on Tuesday, they're like, well, he keeps doing it every freaking week. I can do it. Every time I come here, he's always here. He's always up. He's always talking shit. I can do it. You know, so that's important to me to be active online, because I actually connect with people in real life. So, you know, I might post something real quick, but I still cold shower, cardio, weights. So find 3 things that are important to you that you cannot skip.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
If you skip them, you know something's off. Do you have something that's consistent that you can measure? Or do you go work, family, scroll, sleep, wake up, scroll, work? You just skipped yourself. Now, that's why you mad over something five days ago, because you ain't even dealt with it, just like I didn't for 7 years. So you got to find a place where you can implement systems, reflection, research, reapply. You can do your budgeting. You can do, you know, you can evaluate your relationships. You can evaluate your business. You can evaluate your consumption, somewhere where you can pay attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where you can measure your emotional state.
That's so good.
In the foundation, I think around the sleep is most important, because that's our private time.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to do in the middle of the day, because you might have somebody call, I might have to go, might have to do it. Oh, somebody called me. Like, but if you don't negotiate from that block around your sleep, that's going to be the things you do in that foundation is what's going to surface when you get under stress, excitement, pressure, or love.
So true. That's so good. I think that's really good too. Like, just for people coming out of relationships, like setting a structure. Even if it's completely different than what you were doing before, setting a structure for yourself so you have something new to focus on outside of the relationship that you were in. So you're not like spinning and dwelling on it as much as you normally would, because you have something else to like set your sights on and your mind on and have a new goal. And like, that's why I think the gym is amazing. And I think it's so good for people coming out of relationships. You should do it anyway, but especially after like a really rough breakup, or, you know, something like that triggers old wounds. Like, I just think the gym is like it's like the one simple thing. It's a simple thing to do. You don't even have to do much while you're there. Just go.
Exactly.
Because you're in a different environment where people are working on themselves. So that's already like going to affect you. It gives you something to like build. That's easy. I mean, it's not easy, but it is easy if you're consistent with it, you know?
Get the timing down. Make time to wake up, drive to the gym, beep in, and drive home.
Yeah.
Just make time for that.
Yeah.
Because now you got the 40-minute commute out the way, and you did everything else in your day. Now you can add 10 minutes on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And then adjust, you know.
Tell us about your Choose Yourself community.
Choose Yourself community. So it's in relation to content, also in relation to the small increments that led to that full foundation. When my uncle was like, yo, you better switch it up. You better something, or I got to let you go. I was waking up at like 1 p.m. and I was going out selling from like 3 to 6, just half-assing.
Right.
And when he said that, I said, damn, I got to wake up earlier, which means I can't be out late no more. So no more sleepovers during the week. I told girls, you got to go by 9. You can't stay. I have to focus on my foundation.
Yeah.
And that's where it came. No people, no screens, no toxins. From your nighttime routine, sleep, morning routine. No people, no screens, no toxins. No vapes, no sugars, no smoking, no nothing. Just you, yourself. From when you put your digital sunset to your digital sunrise, implement the systems. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of that came from, was those beginning phases of stop having girls sleep over, because then you stay up late, you watch another episode, now you're getting freaky, taking forever. So no sleeping over. But eventually in the beginning, I was trying to wake up earlier, and I would be snoozing. I'd be like, damn, I got to wake up at 10? I thought 10 was early. I wake up at 3 now. I'm like, why I wake up at 10? And I'd wake up, hit the snooze, and then I'd press play on a YouTube video right next to me on my bed. And it'd be like Eric Thomas, Steve Harvey, freaking Andrew Tate, freaking Denzel Washington, Will Smith, all the people that, I can resonate with what they're saying. And they'd say something, I'd be like, I ain't no bitch. And I would get up. They would be like, what you gonna do? You gonna sit in bed? Freaking, you ain't got all you want. Look around.
Eric Thomas is best for that.
Like, you got everything. You gonna just waste your life? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get up. Let me get my ass up. After a couple weeks, I'm like, I want to be that for people.
Yeah.
When I realized words from a screen could penetrate someone and actually get them to take action, that's when I started doing content.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would wake up and I started doing content in the morning. morning. Now, my desire to, one, vocalize a future version, but also impact people made me go home early.
Yeah.
Because I knew I could be better content creator in the morning. So now I'm in this integrity loop. So now I'm saying things that I want to do. First it started, it was like, tip top of that morning or something like that. And then I'm like, get shit done, finish your task, wake up on time, get to the gym, basic stuff.
Yeah.
Before I started really researching who I was, it was just like the basic stuff that everybody says. But I wasn't doing it. So I'm like, who am I to even be saying this?
Yeah.
So now after making the claim, getting feedback from people and appreciation, and then still partying Thursday to Sunday,
Didn't make
sit
sense.
right.
Yeah.
Didn't sit right. So eventually it was Thursday to Saturday. And it was Friday to Saturday. And it was Fridays only. And it was like occasionally. And so that making content and that exercise, the integrity loop of making a claim to people, even if I didn't even know who it was, it strengthened my authenticity and my integrity and my intention when they weren't around.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't want to do that online. Some people don't have a family or friends or insurance to do that with others. Come to the CYC and do it. Now you can come make a claim with people who are doing the same thing and get the same impact that I got from making content.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do. So now every week we meet, and I made a ebook that's just basically foundational material with each chapter being a page talking about how to transform your life. And we talk about the foundation, and we talk about mindful consumption. We talk about balance. We talk about, we share our resources and perspective, and you try to have like 2 guests per month come in and talk about their expertise and how it relates to what we're talking about. So it's not just me. It's like, see, they said it. And we talk about foundation. Remember what the doctor said, sleep? Look, I said sleep. See, sleep. I ain't lying. I did it. They did it. You can do it.
Yeah, facts.
And so now it's like there's a lot of people sharing these stories from being in the CYC where I'm like, damn, this shit work. This works for everybody. It's not just me, And the community, the power of having community, man, is, I think that's why they train you. Don't work with other people when they're kids because they know how powerful it can be.
Yeah.
When they're kids, you're like, work by yourself, keep your eyes on your own paper, don't talk, be quiet, raise your hand.
Yeah.
Because if you talk together, you become powerful. And then you're not going working 9 to 5 when you start working together.
Facts.
So that's what we do, man. Everybody's accountability group. Eventually, want to grow it to however many people possible.
Yeah.
And, continue to connect with people. And so as I travel and do speaking engagements and people listen to these podcasts, you're like, oh, I like him. Let me tap in with him every week.
Yeah.
I want to have somewhere people can stay connected to what I'm saying. So, and it keeps me sharp too. It keeps me dedicated, man. It keeps me focused on the mission, keeps me humble, lets me understand I'm not alone, but also my purpose is to build this. It is to be the example and continue to provide resources and perspective and help people GYM, and that's grow your mind.
Yeah, I love that so much. And you know what? It really does make a difference who you surround yourself with. Because if you're surrounded by people that are like, they're just trying. They're trying to be their best self. Whether they're failing or not, none of that even matters. As long as they're trying, it makes you want to try, I know people always say that, like, choose your friends wisely, but it's true.
Yeah.
Because you are who you are around the most.
I say, I know, man. My friends know. You ain't gonna last around me if you start complaining and blaming and boo-hoo and all that. You be like, man, watch out. We're not talking about problems, solutions only.
That's good. That's
Solutions
really
only.
good.
Yeah.
And of course, like therapy. Go to your therapist, talk about your problems, get it all out.
Yeah.
And go to
do
your
that,
community,
man.
talk about solutions.
Yeah, exactly. Don't come in. We talk about problems. People come in with problems, and what I love is other people giving advice.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say shit most of the time. I'm just a facilitator. It's not really my community. Really.
Yeah.
It's a community based around truth.
Yeah.
Which is connection and contribution. And those are what's provided in the community. I'm just a facilitator. I just get the guests. I just post, but we all talk. We all contribute to each other. We all share stories. And so, I learn every single session, whether it's from the special guest or from something that somebody said, oh, I actually did this in my foundation and my daughter noticed this. I'm like, oh, never think of that because I ain't got no kids. So I never thought
Tell you what, that'll help you get a nighttime routine real quick.
I'm
Having kids, that's like, for me, I like to be in bed by 9 because I have a kid that I want her in bed by 9, So she won't go to sleep unless I do. If she thinks I'm awake, she's like, what are you doing awake? Why do I have to go to sleep? And I'm like, I guess I'm going to sleep too. So
I tell people that if you got kids, go to sleep with your kids. Stop staying up with the extra. This is my personal time. No, your personal time is earlier before they get up.
Yeah.
That's your personal time. Go to sleep with your kids. Wake up an hour earlier and then set the foundation before your kids wake up. I promise you.
So good.
That's what I've heard from parents.
That's so good. I love that. That's amazing. That's amazing. Do you have anything else that you think is important for people to, when it comes to like that beginning stage, when they're coming out of something like a dark season, like where it's like do these things just specifically that it just to get started, just the simplest things. Like for me, I said the gym, but like, what do you think would be those things?
Evaluate, sit down, and this is something you can do in 5 minutes, and sit down and try to evaluate what you consumed just today, and not just what you ate, drank, smoked, what you watched, who's on your feed. Go through your feeds. Go through all your feeds. And take away the things that aren't in alignment with who you want to be. You're like, but I love watching cats. Okay, well, are you going to be a cat woman one day? Shit, I like big titties and big booties, but I don't see none of them on my feed. You know why? Because that's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
I eliminated anything talking about fights, anything talking about drugs, anything talking about girls. I was actually following a damn guard dog page. I'm like, I want a dog one day. I want to learn how to train dogs. And all of a sudden, this girl pops up. How they got them random ads pop up, and I had to unfollow one of my favorite accounts because I can't allow that.
Yeah.
I can't allow you in the middle of the day be putting this fine ass girl on my screen. This is messing me up. Now I got to think about other things. What's going on here? So evaluate your consumption, but that's the first thing you can do. One thing we can do all day, every day is consume mindfully.
Yeah, that's so good.
Mindful consumption on all 5 levels. Not just what you eat, what you drink, what you smoke, what you're watching, who you're listening to, who you follow when you scroll, who you poke, who you stroke, how your crib smell. Does it smell like old folks and artichokes?
Yeah.
Clean your house, wash your pits, take a shower, clean your teeth, clean your eyes. Like, make sure what's coming in into your sensory input doesn't trigger a thought that's going to put you in the past.
Ooh, that's good.
Because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're so right. That's hard to do.
Your environment. Yeah, but to write it down and be aware of it is the first thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think the same thing. Acceptance is like the first step. I always tell people, like, if you want to like heal and grow and move forward in your life, acceptance. Look at where you are. Look at your life. Like, get really honest with yourself. Accept where you're at right now. And then decide, like, is this okay forever, or do I want to change it?
Yeah. I would say immediately is just morning routine. Get your 10 minutes. Wake up, put cold water on your face, brush your teeth and your tongue. Don't skip your tongue, y'all. Y'all be skipping your tongue and I can smell it. I can smell it, y'all. Not them. This smells great in here, but
does it?
The people,
it doesn't. Just trust me on that.
The people that know I'm talking about. But find 3 things, man. Can you meditate for 2 minutes? Write down 3 things you're grateful for and do 10 push-ups.
Gratefulness helps me a lot.
Do those 3 things. Can you even do that without, what's on my phone? Oh my God, I need this. I need coffee. Where's my vape? What the hell? You can't even do those 3 things? That's an issue.
Yeah.
Even if you do 2 minutes, 2 things you're grateful for, 2 minutes meditation, 2 push-ups.
I love that.
That will help.
What's a positive message you want to put out into the world? I should have given you that question
Besides
first.
choose yourself.
Yeah, but you could say that. Like, what is something you needed to hear before you got to where you are now?
You got to have 2 forms of faith. One's in yourself and one's in something greater.
Ooh, that's good.
The faith in yourself is going to give you confidence and the ability to take a risk. But the faith in something greater is going to keep you humble and connected to something that'll pull you out of the dark space. So it's kind of it's that middle sweet spot of, I got this, but hold up, this ain't all me.
Yeah.
Hold on. Thank you, though. But yeah, I did good, but thank you. But
yes.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks, everybody, actually, who I've ever met. Because it's all part of who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
All working out for your good.
Yeah.
That's true.
Focus on the growth. I think that's the big thing with grieving, too, is it's tough, obviously, but to focus on the growth.
Celebrate it.
Yeah, instead of what you expected.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I didn't give myself enough credit along the way. But I'm in like such a good place now that I look back and I'm like, yeah, I was doing the work. I really was. And it was hard in that season still, but it shows now. Like, it's all showing now. And every walk of my life is like completely different. So.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, good for you.
Well, I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
Shit, we just be proud of yourself.
Look at us.
Dang.
Just look at us.
2 self-chooses, just
yeah.
choosing.
We rocking it.
That's the best. That's the best.
No, I know. Well, thank you so much for all of that. I think that's going to be really helpful, especially to the guys that watch my show. But really for women too, because choosing yourself isn't about whether you're a male or a female. It's just about being a person and rising up.
Yeah.
You know?
If you don't choose yourself, why the hell should I?
Yeah.
And why should anyone else? And what does choosing you look like? What fills your cup up?
Mm-hmm.
And, you were saying to exercise when you get out of a relationship. Don't stop when you get in one.
Yeah. Facts.
Don't stop doing what got you to where you want to be. People get a promotion and they dress all nice for 6 months and it's done.
Yeah.
For me, I worked hard until I got to the pros and I was like, all right, not working as hard because I'm already this great guy at this college. So I'm definitely going to go to the pros, but I was playing in the small pond, not realizing that there was a bigger vision and more competition.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's one thing too. When you're healing, your life ends up going in a completely different direction you never thought because you end up going on the right path. Like when you are truly living in the best vibration of who you are and you're putting that out into the world, it's like all of a sudden, like you've been kind of, over here off to the side in the brush, just trying to figure a way out, falling off the hill. And then all of a sudden it's just like the path just clears and you just follow it and you never know what that's going to look like. Like I said, I thought I'd be a singer. Now I talk and I used to hate speaking in front of people. And here we are,
Crushing it.
And you too.
Nah, I always talked.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying you thought you were going to be a football player.
Yeah,
Look at you now. Now you're a motivational speaker.
Yeah, man. I mean, wouldn't be as motivational if I didn't mess that up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
For real.
Oh, it's awesome.
Nice.
This is good.
So where we heal, y'all.
Yep.